So the Zone Mortalis Railings can clip on. Why can't the ladders? Or the elevators? Let's see what we can do about that. Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to look at the railings, elevators and ladders that come in the platforms and stairs kit. Let's start with the railings, the Zone Mortalis Railings. There's not really a lot to say about the railings because they tend to work exactly as it says on the tin. They clip on to any of the platform parts that stick out. Well, they clip on after they're painted. I found them pretty hit or miss when they're unpainted. Some clip on, some don't. It's completely random. After you've painted them and have effectively created a coating on both the platforms and the railings, the friction fit works better. I guess this is because after you've painted the platforms, it makes them very slightly thicker, and when you've painted the railings, it makes the clip very slightly thinner. I'd like to think that it was designed like this on purpose into the mould, but then it doesn't work like that on other parts of the kit, so it's probably just a quirk of tolerances on the plastic moulding. Depending on how you've built your platforms, you might end up with some that still have a little tab sticking out. If you find yourself needing to put railings on these, you might need to create a selection of railings where you trim off the middle clip. It doesn't really make them any less stable. If you bought enough kits, you'll seriously have these things coming out of your ears, so just make a bunch of these with no middle clip, and the rest leaving the middle clip intact. Once you've done this, you're free to clip them on wherever you want. I occasionally leave a few lying around on the ground as scatter terrain as if they've fallen off. Elevators. Elevators, however, are a completely different beast. Elevators are supposed to hook over the top of columns, and that's how they attach. The moulding on the underside of the top section allows it to settle into the depression on the vent platform where you usually join the runner platforms. But being honest, it's kind of useless. It's super loose, not a clip or a friction fit. It's just another unsteady and inebriated mate who puts his arm over your shoulder to walk, like the stairs. Which I found strange because the elevator platform itself is a pretty solid friction fit, so you can move it up or down. Just like I did with the stairs, I toyed with a few ideas for making a friction clip, or by using magnets. But magnets would need to be on every side of every column and every wall, which, no. I also looked at making little paperclip rods akin to snake teeth under here that would hook on, but it wasn't any more stable. I even considered gluing some and sacrificing a few single columns, but again, no. Every option meant going back and retrofitting everything I'd already made, so no. In the end, the absolute simplest way to make them stay attached is to just blue tack them on. I know, an incredible cop-out, but sometimes how you work with terrain doesn't have to reinvent the wheel. You might be asking, well, that's lazy, why didn't you just do the entire terrain with blue tack? Believe me, I tried. And if it had worked, this channel probably wouldn't exist. Blue tack, or sticky tack, is probably one of the most underrated products in the hobby world. Yet it's the one that quickly solves the most problems. But it only really works with lightweight things where it can counter gravity, or with things that already hold their own weight, like the elevators. So it can't hold stairs or walls unless you use loads, and then nothing is flush, and you'd see the blue tack sticking out. But with elevators, it's hidden behind or under the top. I figured we use it for holding models for priming to holding them when painting, from masking when airbrushing to assembling entire models. In fact, all these models that you see here are stuck together with teeny tiny pieces of blue tack ready for priming and zenithal. Small enough to counter gravity, but not big enough to see. So I can take them apart, paint them in sub-assemblies, and glue them back together when I'm finished. Now, some of you might be worried about the paint coming off when you remove the blue tack, but if your terrain is varnished and you only use very small amounts of blue tack, I've never really found it to be a problem. Plus, it's a Zone Mortalis table, so the occasional bit of scraped paint or surface damage will actually only add to the authenticity, if it does happen. Which brings us on to ladders. Blue tack? No, I tried. It's just too flimsy and doesn't hold with any strength. The ladders were the most frustrating part of these kits. They're designed to fit underneath the hatchways, which is a clever idea, but as I noted in my previous platforms video, they've got to be glued in or they just fall out. Okay, we can deal with that. We just make a couple of platform sections with stairs already glued in. It's still modular, so it's no big deal. But what about the rest of the ladders? No clip, no slot, no way to attach these. The instructions tell you to glue them. Sorry, again, no. What if I don't want my ladders there forever? I want to be able to move them around, put them in different places each time, so let's make them clip on. This is a 4mm extruded L-section polystyrene rod, which is an overly convoluted name for a bent piece of plastic in the shape of an L. You can get these at most hobby stores, especially the ones specialising in railway modelling or architectural modelling. To make a clip, you just take a platform, hold the rod tightly on the edge of the platform, then take another rod and hold it at the opposite side, again as tight as you can. Run a thin line of plastic glue where the two pieces overlap, the same glue you use for plastic miniatures, then slide it along, hold tightly and glue the next section. Once you've glued the entire length of the rod, flip it over and glue the join on the inside. You'll be left with a C-shaped rod bent slightly inwards, which creates a clip. Paint the rod whatever colour matches your table or ladders, depending on your preference. Cut them into sections the same width as your ladder and glue them together. Now, I tried a few ways of doing this, but found the best way was to glue it under the curve at the top, because it gives you 4 points of contact for the glue, which makes the bond stronger. I know the instructions want you to glue them using the tips of the curve so the ladders can touch the floor, but to me that was a tiny surface area to glue and made them flimsy and snap too easily. And it really makes no difference to whether a ganger can climb it or not. With this clip, you've now got stairs that can clip almost anywhere on the platforms. Let's have a look at what all these parts can do in use. Again, I hope this has helped. The more parts of the terrain that we can make stable, the less time we have to keep rebuilding the table during a game when we inevitably and accidentally knock it over. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, like or share. Well, to people who find this stuff useful. I don't imagine everybody cares about little plastic ladders.